Amazon's Lord of the Rings series is officially titled The Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power. And Ryder, we already knew it, but this is going to be the most expensive TV show of all time with the
Let's
budget.
go.
Give me your hype
As
level.
it should. Hype level was probably, I'd say, a little above mid, but after seeing this title sequence that they did and how they're doing the practicality of it, I think that they're going to keep the heart and soul that what made the original so great. And it's at an all-time high.
Dude, yeah, here's the thing. Everybody knows the Hobbit movies are, they're like, well, not great. So it's like, okay, what is the future of Lord of the Rings after all this? So excited for the show. And do you know what is even more killer is they released this title sequence. It's like the lava going through and all this stuff. And then they released the behind the scene videos where they did that all practical. And they did not actually make that title thing in CG. You're like, you know what? Maybe they're dedicated to the practical effects, which is going to make or break this show. 100%.
Absolutely.
So we got a little bit of information, and we dug up some Easter egg. We got an Easter egg here that has been circulating the internet that we're going to need to tell you about. But just a couple things here, Ryder. We can go back and forth. But the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, anyways, this is going to follow the Forging of the Rings. That is a big piece of this, which is very cool. We got the Rise of the Dark Lord Sauron also in this show.
Love them. We have the epic tale of Numenor, of course, the place or...
We'll get into Numenor in a sec.
Yeah, you have to tell me. I know you're loud. Then the Lost Alliance of Elves and Men. I do know about this though. And of course, premiere date September 2nd on Amazon Prime. So you get your popcorn ready and be ready for September.
This might be like most anticipated over some movies this year. Maybe
absolutely
for me. This is huge.
And I love how Amazon, they always release the whole show usually. So maybe they do that with this. Like, it won't, kind of like The Boys.
Invincible went week to week though.
True.
So I don't know.
They could do that. It would be smart to do week by week because you keep the longevity of it.
Sure. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. Can't wait.
I'll say this last one, then you tell us about these. We'll break down this Easter egg. Okay, so here's a little summary of it for those of you that aren't familiar with what this will be about. It's set thousands of years before the events of the trilogy. We will see heroes and villains, new and familiar, deal with the aftermath of the Rings creation and the source of evil behind them. Sauron, of course, according to its showrunners J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay. Fantastic.
Here's where it gets wild, okay? The title announcement video for the Rings of Power depicts the literal forging of the show's logo and is narrated by an unidentified speaker, likely Morfydd Clark Gadriel, who is a character, I would say, who recites part of the Ringverse. The poem describes the creation and distribution of the 20 Rings of Power, beginning with those made for the elves, men, and dwarves. Notably, when the narrator says, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, the video shows a rush of water flooding the show's logo. That is a clever, easy-to-miss Easter egg referencing the catastrophic destruction of the island kingdom of Numenor. I think I'm saying Numenor correctly, but again, they've never actually said it like in a recorded thing. It's just from the book, or from like early books. It's not from the Lord of the Rings trilogy book, but it's from like
the canon of
Tolkien did a bunch of books like about he wrote a certain book. I forget what it's called, but it's just about the land. It's not about...
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Like, that's it.
Interesting.
And so this is from that. But Numenor is an island gifted to Eden, the fathers of men, by the Valar, the celestial beings of Tolkien's world, for their efforts in helping the elves at the end of the first age of Middle-earth. And centuries after its creation, Numenor rises to be a truly mighty force so that even Sauron grows afraid of the Numenorian armies. Okay, but this is the best part. This is where it gets really exciting. To say that the story of Numenor and its destruction is epic would be an understatement. It has the potential to be a cinematic TV moment on the same level as something like, sorry, Ryder, this is a big Game of Thrones spoiler. I just realized. I'm so sorry, but you already read it.
It's a character.
So sorry, but something along the same level as the wall coming down in Game of Thrones. Okay. It is the ultimate tragedy, and the moment in which Sauron's ability to manipulate the minds of men becomes clear. Ryder, what is this last point right here?
This sounds fantastic. In other words, it definitely feels intentional that the water floods the screen in the Rings of Power title announcement video at the exact moment its narrator mentions mortal men who are doomed to die.
Can you imagine like a flood sequence where an entire island is... Oh my God.
All I'm thinking about is Weta Digital taking over this whole show and making it the most gorgeous show ever conceived by man. It's just the CGI of water flushing. Oh man. I know excited. Like some big battles from Game of Thrones and how there's a lot of extras in the CGI. I have heard of this epic scale, and I don't doubt that they are going at it with this, and this is going to be their biggest thing, probably one of the biggest shows on TV, and I imagine Amazon's boost is just gonna go up. So
Totally.
man,
I agree.
show is hyped.
I'm so excited, guys. If you're interested, tell us in comments what you think about this, because I'm seriously, I want to know if you guys have like any other thoughts on the series. I'm so excited. Lord of the Rings is like one of my favorite things ever, so this is gonna be awesome. And the memes that'll come from this probably will be incredible. But guys, thanks so much for watching this clip. If you'd like to see the whole episode on YouTube, you can become a member on the channel or check it out for free on audio platforms linked right below. Appreciate y'all.